Hey, in this video, I want to talk about how I took one of my clients from a position of self-loathing to a man of daily action. And I think a big part of that was based off the things I had him do on a day-to-day basis. What's up, you guys? My name is Try. I'm an online fitness coach. I'm your online big bro. And in this video, I want to talk about my client, Epic. Now, Epic, he is a very young man, still going to college, still trying to figure out his life, what path to take. As an online fitness coach, one of my main jobs is to make sure that I give the clients the right path and the right blueprint to get a physical transformation. Before any of my clients join my program, I want to make sure that I'm actually able to truly help them out. So in order to do so, I have an assessment call, and in that phone call, I ask them certain questions: where they're at, what's been the problem, if I have the right tools to be able to give them a solution. I provide the solution, and then I make sure that I have them execute every single freaking day. Now, when it came to my client Epic, he was in a position where he felt like he was overweight. He was a man of very low confidence. He had very low self-worth. He didn't have the self-belief in himself to accomplish great things in his life. Now, ever since joining my program, he's been able to do great things that I didn't even think possible, and he didn't even think possible. But through my program, we were able to accomplish that. And one of the big things, to be honest, was for him to have the confidence to actually approach a girl in real life. That was one of the big things. Now, he felt like he was in a state of limbo, right? When I was doing this assessment call and we started talking, he felt like he was like he in his head he knew what he wanted to do, but he just couldn't get himself to actually do the things, and it felt like it was hopeless. Like there was no point of actually doing these things. There was like this small piece in his heart that he actually wanted to do it, but when he actually has the hope and he has the will and he does it, but then he fails miserably, and then he gets back into this mindset of wanting, hope, will, failing, and then it was like this endless cycle for him, and it was continuous over and over and over. So I told him, hey, you know what? I will give you the guideline on what I think you should do, and if you apply these principles, I think you become very successful. Now, the first thing I have people do is get into shape. And the reason why I think people getting into shape is it's so important because it's the quickest thing you could do in your life to be able to build up your self-confidence. And I think that's a big part. The body is actually connected to the mind. Like there's like a flow of information going back and forth from the mind to the body to the mind. Like in order for me to move my hands, my brain has to say, hey, move your freaking hands. And then it sends out all these signals, boom, 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 do this, right? And it does it. And then the hand does it and it goes, oh, hey, I did it. It sends it back to the brain, hey, the hand actually moves. So it's a constant flow of back and forth, back and forth. That's the reason why I have people do a physical transformation, because it's the fastest thing in your life in order to get you where you want to go in the bigger scheme of things. So let's dive right into it. These list of things I have my clients do, there's like a two-part step to it. So let's dive into this. I want to break down my process of what I have my clients do. It's like a two-part process. One is like a general scope of things, and the other one is a little bit more detailed. But the first list of things I have them do is very simple, and I have them do this every single day. The first thing I have them do is wake up early every single day. Now, the first thing I have my clients do is wake up early every single day. Now, I'm not talking about 6 a.m., 5 a.m. No, I'm talking about 4 a.m., 3:30 a.m., 3:15 a.m. And the reasons why I want people to wake up early is because I want people to sit in their own thoughts without any external, like outside influence. Like people are losing to this thing right here called a phone. Like this 6-inch screen right here is where most men's dreams go to die. Like people get stuck on that thing. But by waking up early and not looking at your phone, you're in your own thoughts. You're sitting by yourself and you're actually forced to think about what is in here and what you need to accomplish. Now, that's the first thing I have them do. Now, the second thing I have them do is grab a notebook. Now, inside this notebook, when they wake up early is write out all the things they have to do for that day. Now, there are two reasons why I have them do that. One is because I want to make sure that the task that they have to do, that they're physically connected to it. It's proven scientifically when you write things down in a notebook, your mind actually makes like this physical connection with those tasks and the things that you're writing out. That's why when you text somebody and you say, "Hey, I love you," it rings so much different compared to writing out a love letter saying, "Hey, you know what, baby? I love you." Like that's actually an old age art that's lost in today's time. Is a old fashioned handwritten "I love you" letter. That doesn't happen in today's times. But go ahead, give that a shot. Write out a letter to your significant other and just put out your thoughts into this letter and see how you start feeling. I guarantee you, you're gonna be lovey-dovey by the time you sign it and seal it with a kiss. Now that's the first thing I have them do is write out all the things they have to do for that day. But also is because when you write out lists for the things you have to do for that day, they know what they have to execute on. Like they do not stop until that list is checked off. All the things on that list. Eat correct, eat healthy, pick up my kids, go to work, work out, go to sleep early. Like these things that you have to do, you crush it every single day and then you keep going until it's done. That's it. Now, the next thing I have my clients do is audit their social media platforms. Now, this is very important. When you open up your phone and you open up your app, look at the things that you're watching. Look at the recommended feed of the social media like algorithm is pushing to you. Like, don't get it twisted. That algorithm is smart. Like, it's intelligent AF. Like, it knows what you're thinking. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, we could be talking right now and it's gonna pick up the talk, like the verbal cues, and it's gonna populate what's in the algorithm. Like your phone is listening to you, bro. So take a look at the things that you're watching and then audit it. So what I'll have people do is only watch and listen to people that motivate them or someone that inspires them to be better, someone that they wish to emulate. That's very important because what you intake is what you're going to output. So you got to remember that. The next thing I have them do is grab a book of some form of self help, some form of empowerment, a book that makes you a better person, not just some fantasy novel like Harry Potter. Now, don't get it twisted. I love Harry Potter. Like, I read all those books, I read them cover to cover, man. But this is not what we're here about. People that join my program want to be better. So read a book that's going to help you do that. And every day, I have them read 10 pages every single day to get them into that state of mind to where they want to go, which is being better and getting out of this loop of hopelessness and limbo. Next thing I have them do is work out every single day. Like training your body only trains your mind. It's like you got to remember these things, the body and the mind, they're connected. Like again, I cannot move my hand unless my brain tells me to move my hand. And then when I move my hand, the hand sends signals back to my brain saying, "Hey, guess what? The hand moved." After that, I make sure that they're on their macros, like they eat the correct amount of macros every single day to obtain the physique that they're looking for. Like, let's be real here. Everyone wants to be in shape. If there was a button right here that everyone could push that says, "Hey, get a six pack," everyone would be pushing this dang button. Like, you ever hear the people, "Oh, I don't care about looks. I don't care about any of that stuff. Like, I just work out to be healthy." I guarantee you, if there is a button that you can just push, once you push it, boom, you get that physique you're looking for. Most people will push that freaking button. So don't lie to yourself and say, "Hey, you know what? I work for my mental health and I work out just to, feel good." No, because if that button was there, you might be pushing it twice. Lastly on the list is I have the clients go to sleep early. This is so important because nothing good happens after 9 p.m. Like nothing. You tell me what good happens after 9 p.m. Why do you think crime happens at night? It's because all the bad stuff happens at night. Have you noticed, like, automatically when it becomes nighttime, your inhibitions get loose? That's right. Drugs, alcohol, crime, lust, junk food, all these things happen towards the end of the night. 9 p.m., you're in bed, lights out. It's time for you to get ready for tomorrow. That's why going to sleep early is so imperative. When it comes to self-loathing, it is such a bitch, man. It is. It's almost like you're failing at failing. And it sucks to know that even failing, you can't even accomplish that. And a lot of times people think, hey, you know what? There's no point of even trying because why? I'm just going to fail anyways. But in doing so, you got to remember that is actually an action. And people think, hey, no action equals nothing. But you choosing to just sit around and not accomplishing anything, not doing anything, not getting up, not cleaning up your room, not doing the dishes, not brushing your teeth, these things are actually a choice and it equals to an action. Like that's the biggest misconception that everyone thinks, hey, you know what, there's no point in me trying because why? Why try? Why? Like why? For what? That is actually an action. And people forget that. Now when it comes to my program and me having the person become a better version of themselves, I always preach that my program is more mental than it is physical. That is like the pinnacle of what I have people do is changing their mindset and getting them outside of this thinking that they're stuck in, because at the end of the day, without a strong mind, the things that you're doing on a day-to-day basis, it will fold unless you have a strong mind and the discipline and consistency to back it up. Like you got to remember, thinking in itself is a form of action. And mental action leads to physical action. Now, when it came to my client, Epic, he was looking everywhere else to avoid doing the hard stuff. But in doing other things that weren't leading him down the path that he wanted, it was actually taking him away a little bit further and further and avoiding the things that he knows he needed to do. And that's why he was stuck in this loop of self-loathing. And this is where a lot of men fail because they're creating another problem. And this is where men fail. Like they're creating a problem to avoid another problem. And all you're doing is stacking problems upon problems. And guess what happens? You're just stuck in this position of limbo over and over again, day in and day out. Now, here's something that I pressed upon my client Epic. I told him, hey, little homie, you know what you need to do? You need to do less. And the reason why I have him do less is because he was doing everything else to do the one or two things that he needed to do. Like you got to think about it, right? He was playing video games. He was going out to eat. He was going out to hang out with his friends. He was going to kick it. Like he was doing everything else besides the few things that he needed to do to become a better version of himself, to get outside of this loop, to break the freaking chains of becoming who he really knows he wants to be. And it started right here. It started with the list of the things I have him do. Waking up early, writing out the things you need to do, listening to things that only gonna motivate you, read the book, work out, eat within your macros, and go to sleep early. And in turn, by not indulging in his bad habits that he was doing, that in itself was a positive habit. Like him not going out to eat and just staying home is actually a positive action towards his goals. By not drinking, by not smoking, by not indulging in junk food was actually pushing him towards a positive action. Like that in itself is the positive action. So ultimately, by him changing his ways, it transformed his thoughts, which in turn shaped his actions and ultimately creating different outcomes. Now, when it came to the fitness program, it's making sure that Epic was on point every single day. Like that's one of the things I have with my clients is I make sure that I show up for them on a day-to-day basis. And on top of that, that I'm actually leading from the front. So with Epic, one of the things that he had was he had a lot of fat on his body. And in order to build muscle like most men want, you have to be able to shed the old self to be able to build a new one. So I always preach awareness and willpower. Like those two things are like best bros. Like awareness and willpower will take you so far in life, and especially in this program of becoming a better version. Epic realized where he was when he first posted up his photo. He was like, oh snap, I'm a big back. Okay, that's awareness. The second one was the willpower. In my fitness program, I have my clients do cardio every single day. You do not stop. Like there's no days off. You might have a rest day from the weights, but there's no rest days from cardio. There's no negotiating on that. You do what you have to do. And in turn, the action leads to reshaping the thoughts, and the reshaping the thoughts lead to better habits and getting outside of this loop. Another thing I do for my clients, and what I did for Epic, is that I have them make sure their macros are on point every single day. I check their foods, what type of foods they're eating, if it's processed foods, if it's like whole foods, I want to make sure that they're on the path to success. And it may seem a little bit overbearing, but for me, it's so easy to slip and mess up. Like, it's so easy to just make the mistake and say, you know what, I'm gonna have some chips, or I'm gonna go have some junk food today. Epic has been doing that for years after years after years. And it's like, at what point do you want to stop doing that, man? And this is why I have the program set up so extreme where the chance of success is 100%. As long as you follow the things that I have you do, you will succeed. Like, there is no way in hell you join my program and you do not come out a better version of yourself on the other end. Like, there's no way. It's impossible. Every single person that has joined my program has made success. And I'm sure if you apply the exact same rules, you will succeed as well. Once Epic was able to transform his physique and he was able to shed some weight, it eventually transitioned over into the mind. One of the best things that Epic took away from this program was his mind shift. And I think that was the biggest takeaway for him. At the end of the program, yes, he looked better. Yes, he lost some weight, but it's the discipline, it's the consistency, it's the action that he took to get him outside of this loop that he knew all his life. And finally, he was able to just get out of sight of that box that he put himself in. And it was through the small little actions, keeping the promises that he kept to himself. He started with the person of inaction to a man of action. And as long as you keep this up, I promise you, you will become a man of action and get outside of this box of hopelessness and start creating hope for yourself. Listen up to Epic. This is his testimonial of my program.
I think this program helped me change a lot as a person. I feel like when I first started the program, right? Like I feel like life was harder because like when you don't have the gym, a lot of things in life seem relatively harder because the gym makes it relatively easier, like life relatively easier because the gym is a hard thing to do, right? The accountability aspect, right? I used to be so afraid to talk to people, right, in general, but I think it's relatively easier now, right? And especially because of tries like, volunteering program for like the group leader type of thing. I was group lead the last two times, and it made it a little easier to not be so afraid of people judging me because I think the last couple times, right, I was like, damn, if I'm group lead and I'm not a jacked ass motherfucker, then I'm fucked, right? Because I'm always gonna compare myself to other people. I'm like, damn, I'm not good enough. But I'm like, it's not even like that. Ain't nobody gives a fuck, right? And so that's why I kind of did this, right? Because I know nobody really cares. You just need somebody who's really dedicated, right? And I guess I wanted to be dedicated because it helped, whatever Try did for me helped me change my life. So I wanted to do a favor for like, the people around, because I learned a lot from Try. And another thing is, right, like socially, people used to always call me autistic and shit, right? So that's I always try to change myself. And then like, last like 3 weeks ago, I remember what happened was, right, I was out with this girl for like 9 hours straight, and I just got to know her really well. Like I easily got to know her. But then at the end of the conversation, at the end of the day, she was like, "Oh, I'm not really in relationships," and I was like, "Damn," you know. But even then, I knew I had to ask her out just to get out of my comfort zone, even though I knew it was, complete failure, rejection. So the next time it came around, right before the rejection happened, right, I kept trying to do it over and over again 10 different times. It's like before you go to the gym, I literally compared in my mind, right? Before you do this set, right? You about to do it, but you're mentally like, nah, I'm not trying to do this. I had that shit in my mind. I compared to the gym word for word and everything, right? And I ultimately, I was just like, fuck it, man, I'm gonna do it. And that shit kind of changed my perspective because I'm like, a lot of shit in your mind don't seem as bad as it is, right? And the gym really helped me take the initiative, because it's that initial, type of thing before you do that set. Um, yeah, so that's like my little thing based off of like what I learned from, Try's program accountability, make harder in the mind. So it helps in life a lot, I think.
There you have it. That was a synopsis of my client Epic and how I took him from a man of feeling like he was trapped in life and there was no hope to someone that became a better version of himself, gained that confidence, gained that self belief, gained that self worth, and became a man of action.